Today I'd like to discuss the similarities between road rage and cell phone use when running a business. I rely on my cell phone for everything. 6 years ago, when I was first starting, a long time ago, I didn't have a retail store and I didn't have a workshop that you could just buzz into. I had a phone number that was distributed amongst friends, acquaintances, and old clients and people I used to work with, along with advertisements on the internet for new services like laptop repair. So all of my business came through my phone. When my phone rang, I knew that it was money. I didn't give my phone number out to dipshits. I didn't, just promote and give out flyers to all these random fuckwits. I had a very specific targeted online advertising system, and for people that I would willingly give my phone number to, I knew that these were people who were not just going to throw my number out everywhere. So when my phone rang, I know that every single phone call was either a family member or a new client looking to give me $80 to $600. So regardless of what I was doing, I would always run to pick up the phone. I would stop what I was doing. I would wake up at 1 in the morning. I would stop eating my lunch. I would jump out of a train car if at the next stop to avoid going into the tunnel, because that phone call could very well be the $200 that I needed that day to make my goal of $1,000 a week. You may think that this is petty change if you're doing well for yourself in IT, but if you're 19 or 20 years old and you're on your own and you dropped out of college, $200 is good money. And as somebody who owns 2 stores and has a supply company that sells to a bunch of junior technicians, I am still very, very excited at the idea of picking up the phone to make money, even at $200. So, moving on to the point. Every time I picked up the phone, it was money. But there were times when I was not able to pick up the phone for whatever reason. I was one person. I was one technician. I didn't have a receptionist. I didn't have an assistant. I didn't have other technicians. So sometimes that was just going to go to voicemail. That's just the way it was. And there are times where people will not let it go to voicemail. And that's what I'd like to talk about in this video. I have a friend who is in a similar business. He is a recording engineer. I was a technician at several recording studios, and the one that we both worked at together, he was an engineer and a producer. If you wanted music made for you, or you wanted your music recorded, and you were referred to him, you would call him, set up a time, and he would record you. So he had this exact same problem that I did, and I didn't really notice it for a while, until one day we're at Subway, and he's about to get lunch. It's actually breakfast, since it's our first meal of the day. It's 2 o'clock and we're both starving. We both had a busy day. So he goes to order a sandwich and he sees that somebody's calling, and he says, this person just called 10 minutes ago, this can go to voicemail, I'll talk to him later. So he gets up to the clerk and he goes, I would like a foot long of a ring, 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 ring. Same guy calling again, didn't want to leave a voicemail. So he apologizes to the person in front of him and behind him, and he hits end and continues. He moves on to say, to choose vegetables, and he goes, I would like banana peppers and a couple of jalapenos. Same guy. So he's getting to the register now, and he's at the register, and he almost drops the sandwich because he trips to grab his phone because same guy is calling again. And at this point, if you're watching this saga unfold and you're on in the Subway end of the conversation, you would understand if he picked up the phone and went, oh, come on, I'm ordering my goddamn lunch. What the fuck is wrong with you? Because you'd be watching this unfold, whereas the guy on the other end would just think he's being a dick. Now, what the guy on the other end is doing is something like this. Oh, he didn't answer. Well, let me call him right back. I hope he's doing okay. I hope nothing's wrong. Yeah, maybe my phone just didn't work. Let me just call him right back and see what happened. What the guy on the receiving end thinks the other person is doing is something like this. How dare he try to have a life? I am important and I am calling. He saw my name show up and didn't answer. I am not going to voicemail. I'm going to call him right back. How dare he eat breakfast? How dare he try to fuck his girlfriend? How dare he record another client? And I better not go to voicemail again. That's what it gets perceived as, because like with road rage, like where the 2 people in the other cars cannot actually hear or see or understand what's going on. They're not in an actual argument. They're 9 yards away from each other, and It's the same thing. The guy calling can't see the guy who is receiving the call. He can't see that, he may be trying to juggle a set of drums that he's carrying down the hallway for a client that's screaming at him, and he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that when he's calling over and over again, that the guy who may very well be carrying a very heavy set of drums from one building to another building to accommodate a session that's not even going to show up for somebody who is at the point of Michael Douglas and falling down, ready to just kill somebody, that you're interrupting them with a call because you don't have the common courtesy to leave a voicemail. And with the guy carrying the drums from one building to the other for the session that's not going to show up, that is not going to get paid any money for any of this, doesn't realize that the person on the other end doesn't really, doesn't feel self-entitled. It doesn't feel like he's not trying to be a prick. He's just concerned. He's like, oh, why isn't he picking up? I hope everything's all right. But because there's this disconnect and there's this misunderstanding. Now, we used to laugh about this, and you used to go back and forth with funny accents going, I don't give a shit what you're doing, I'm going to call you right back. Because every single time that this happened to one of us, I would be trying to repair one machine while somebody else is walking in, while somebody at the studio is yelling, this doesn't work, and dipshit is calling 3 times in a row. Or he would be carrying a drum kit, again, a similar drum kit, from one room to another to accommodate an irritated rehearsal client that's been double booked, that is screaming at him, and the drum kit doesn't work, and the door lock is, and the doorknob is finicky. All this shit is going on, and right at that moment, somebody calls twice. So this used to be a fun meme. I'm gonna call right back. And over 2 years, it really got annoying when somebody would call 3 or 4 times in a row, and it would make us want to throw our fucking phones at the wall, just to make it stop. I didn't fully understand how annoying this was myself, and truly appreciate my friend's stress until something similar happened to me. I was fixing a machine that was being a pain in the ass. The customer was he was the kind of person that just comes to a business to be a pain in the ass. Like getting something fixed is secondary to being a dick. And he brings in a machine that's completely destroyed in the top. And I know that this is the kind of person that's going to blame it on me. So I'm screwing with this latch, trying to make it work. And I get a phone call from somebody. I had gotten a new phone. I had dumped this garbage BlackBerry Storm for an HTC Incredible. And I didn't have any of my contacts in it. So I didn't know who it was. And it calls, and I just send it to voicemail because I'm busy. And over the course of a minute and 30 seconds, this number calls me back 3 or 4 times. And I'm this close to picking it up and going, what do you want, dipshit? And I'm really glad I didn't do that, because it was actually my uncle calling me to inform me that my mother had been found dead inside of her home. So that wouldn't have been the right moment to do that. And he wasn't calling me to be a self-righteous dick or to point out that his time is more important than what I'm doing. He was calling me over and over again because he didn't want to leave a voicemail saying that your mother is dead. He didn't want to. He didn't want me to continue going on with my life until I had this piece of what he thought I would find very relevant information, which it was relevant information. And then it finally clicked that this is very similar to irrational road rage, where you get really angry because you don't have all the information as to the intentions of the other person. All you have is an annoying sound being made over and over again. A little thing tapping on the side of your shoulder. A little kid in the back of a car going, "Are we there yet? Are 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 we there yet?" Just calling right back over and over again. It brings that same instinct that you have to just beat the kid in the face over and over again, which you can't do these days due to the law and whatnot. But that same instinct that makes you just want to backhand them in the nose is the same thing that comes up when you see this phone number show up over and over and over again. Now, when I'm trying to contact a business, I typically have a list. And if the first business doesn't pick up, I don't bother leaving a voicemail. That's not who I am. I'll just call the next one because I want to speak to a real person. If I really need to speak to that particular business, I'll call and leave a voicemail. If I feel like being a dick, I may call right back just to make sure everything works. But if I don't get a call, again, if I don't receive a real person at the other end, then I'll leave a message. And if I leave a message, I'm not going to call back again in a couple of seconds. I wait 15 minutes. The reason I draw the line at 15 minutes is because in a store or an office or any sort of customer service-based business, 15 minutes is what I believe the mean turnaround time for whatever you're dealing with. If you have a customer that's screaming at you, if you're really busy because you went on lunch break and there's a ton of crap when you got back, if somebody's in the bathroom, whatever it is, in 15 minutes it will probably be resolved and you'll be able to deal with me. So if within 15 minutes I haven't received a call back from the voicemail, I will call again. What I won't do is call 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, because with my brain, logic sets in. Whether their phone battery is dead, whether they have no service, whether there is nobody there because they're closed because of some emergency, whether they just don't like me and hate me, whatever the fuck the reason is that they're not picking up. If they didn't pick up at 1:39 and 20 seconds, they're probably not going to pick up at 1:40 and 20 seconds or 1:41 and 20 seconds. Because they weren't able to, and the circumstance is probably not going to change inside of 20 seconds. I'm either calling a phone that does not ring, or I'm making one person really pissed, and I keep that in my head. The only time that I'm going to call over and over again is if somebody has fucked my wife, somebody owes me money. Under those circumstances, I may call over and over again without leaving a voicemail. But I'm not going to do that just out of nowhere. And it's just, to me, that's some common etiquette from being on the receiving end of these phone calls. I don't have to worry about this problem much anymore. I have a customer service person, I have a receptionist, I have a technician. So if I can't pick up the phone, there are a team of people that can. On rare occasion, the receptionist will go to lunch, I'll be in the bathroom, and the technician will be swamped. On occasion, in this neighborhood that we're in, there'll be 3 people that walk in or 4 people that walk in at the same time for the same service. And without fail, every time in the East Village, there's at least one yuppie that ruins it by going, "So this is going to be done in 10 or 20 minutes, right? Like, you told me like 20 minutes over the phone." Completely oblivious to the fact that 4 people just walked in at the same time, which is not a standard situation. Completely oblivious to the fact that they're not the only person on earth, and that these 3 other people want the same thing. And he just, skull fucks the technician's chances of doing anything else or multitasking or picking up the phone. Because if that guy sees the tech pick up the phone, you're not working on my device, he's going to get pissed off, leave some 1-star Yelp review, and be a little bitch about it. So that's not the point of this video. That can be an entire other video. But needless to say, nobody was able to pick up the phone at this particular point in time. So it went to voicemail. And they didn't leave a voicemail. 10 seconds later, they call right back. 20 seconds later, he calls right back. 10 seconds later, he calls right back. 50 seconds later, he calls right back. This went on for over a period of 8 minutes, there were over a dozen phone calls. And it's not because we're ignoring him, mean to ignore him. There's a voicemail message. A real person is saying, "We're sorry we weren't able to take your call. Please leave your number and we'll get right back to you." It isn't just, "Leave a message after the tone," where you don't know, if that message is going anywhere. And it was pretty annoying. But again, I'm not going to assume anything of the intentions. When the customer service person came back in from break and answered it, because it was ringing right as he walks in, it actually winds up being somebody who, it's not that they got any wrong parts, it's not that we broke something, not that we've stolen any money, it's them just wanting to ridicule us for the fact that we're out of stock of a part. It's Friday and we're out of stock of something that we're going to be back in stock of on Monday. And this person just called to, express their disdain and irritation at the fact that we were out of stock of something. Now, if somebody just calls to complain, I'm really not going to care. I'm just going to apologize and move on with my life. But since there was this incessant ringing and over again phone call over 5 minutes, what I did is I log into my PBX, I get that phone number, I install a little plug-in, and every time this phone number calls, instead of it showing up over and over again, they're just going to get, "We're sorry, the number that you have called has been disconnected. If you believe you have reached this message in error, please try again later. Bye." Now, if somebody calls and compliments us or ridicules us or whatever, I'll apologize, deal with it, and move on. That's what you do as a business. But what drove me off the deep end to actually log into my PBX, install a plugin just to get rid of this, so that person could never call again, was road rage. Even as a 24-year-old rational, mature adult, I still have the same road rage that even parents or grandparents may have when driving a car. When I hear the same number called 10 or 11 times instead of leaving a voicemail, just to complain that we don't have something in stock that we don't claim we even have in stock right now. It's annoying. And what I want you to do is understand this for when you're dealing with any type of contractor on your own. If you are dealing with a home contractor, very often they're on site with some workers, and they're not able to always call you back because they may be in the middle of a project. They don't have dedicated receptionists. So if you call 12 or 15 times in a row, this guy may stop what he's doing 12 or 15 times in a row to look at his phone and see that it's still you and that you don't want to wait 10 minutes to leave a voicemail. So when he calls you back or gives you a quote, it may be higher than the quote that he would have given you if you weren't being a dick. And this is important if you would like to get the best prices on products and services for your business.